Hello. Today, your assignment is assignment 27, and I just call it this Punnet practice because basically what you're going to do is you're going to start on this genetics practice problem sheet, and you're going to do this sheet, the back side. There's one that's called Punnet squares you can do. There's one called Bikini Bottom Genetics with some SpongeBob stuff. Then you'll move on to monohybrid practice problems 1. These are like word problems. Page 2, and then page 3. Once you get to this one called dihybrid crosses, that's where you stop. So your assignment, this is going to be a lot of work, but what you're going to do is you are going to take a picture of your answers. So there's going to be about 7 or 8 pages, I think, of answers. So what I want to do before I let you just go away on this is I'm going to kind of flip through this and do a couple of the questions for you just randomly throughout the booklet to kind of get you comfortable. So let's just go down here now and we'll take a look. So for each genotype, indicate whether it's heterozygous or homozygous. So that means, is it different or the same? Okay, those are the same, so homozygous. It's a big and a little, so it's heterozygous. A big and a little, heterozygous. Those are the same, right? That's a homozygous. What about if it's lowercase, lowercase? Well, they're still the same, so that would be homozygous as well. It'd be homozygous recessive because it's little letters, but it doesn't matter. It's still homozygous. For each of the genotypes below, determine the phenotype. Phenotype is what it looks like, right? So, purple flowers are dominant over white. So if it's big P, what would that flower look like? Purple. All right. If it's big P, little p, it would still be purple because that big P would overtake the little p for white. But if it was little p, that would actually be a white flower on a pea plant. Let's look at this. For each phenotype, list the genotype. So now they're telling you what it looks like, but you have to draw the genetic makeup. So straight hair is dominant over curly, so we'll use the letter S for straight. Okay, so one option of straight hair could be big S, big S. Another one could be big S, little s, and the option for curly hair would be little s, little s. All right, set up the Punnet square and cross these two parents. So I'm going to put big R, little r, and then little r, little r. So we would get big R, little r, little r, little r, big R, little r, little r, little r. What percentage would be round? 50%. All right. You can do a couple more crosses there. I'm going to pick a random question here. Let's see. In pea plants, purple flowers are dominant to white. So P is going to be purple and little p is going to be white. If 2 white flower plants are crossed, what percentage of their offspring would be white flowered? So if it's going to be white, what does that mean? What is that parent going to look like? It can't have any big P's in it at all. It can only have little p. So you're going to just use the paper. You can just draw your answers on these papers. So I'm going to put one parent, little p, little p, little p, little p, and every single one of them is going to be lowercase p. What percentage would have white flowers? 100%. All right, let's do another word problem here. Let's see. In guinea pigs, the allele for short hair is dominant over long hair. So this would be short hair. This would be long hair. All right. What genotype would be heterozygous for short hair? Hetero means different. So it would be one big S and a little s. What genotype would a pure breeding short haired have? Big S, because it's pure, it's the same. What genotype would a long haired guinea pig have? It would have little s, little s. Show the cross for 2 heterozygous haired guinea pigs. So their hair would be, heterozygous means big S, little s. And we're going to cross that with a big S, little s. Let's draw that square right here. Big S, little s, big S, little s. You'd get big S, big S, big S, little s, big S, little s, and little s, little s. Short hair, short hair, short hair, long hair. What percentage would have short hair? 75%. What percentage would have long hair? 25%. Okay. Now we move on to another sheet. Punnet squares. Okay, I'm going to pick a random one here. Let's see. In humans, dimpled cheeks are dominant over smooth cheeks. So big D means dimpled, little d means smooth cheeks. What are the genotypes and phenotypes of a heterozygous father and a heterozygous mother? So the genotypes and the phenotypes of a heterozygous father and a hetero means different. So that means each of them, their genotype is going to be big D, little d, because they don't have any two that are the same, but they still have dimples. And their phenotype is going to equal dimples for both of the parents. And then, of course, the question says, what possible genotypes and phenotypes could their children have, which means you've got to cross them. So you put big D, little d, crossed with big D, little d. I'm going to actually make that square over here for you. So parent 1 is up here. Parent 2 is here. Let's make a square. And I think you know how this is going to go. Big D, big D, big D, little d, big D, little d, little d, little d. What kind of children could they have? Well, let's talk about phenotypes. 75% are going to have dimples. And 25% are going to have smooth cheeks. Okay, and what kind of genotypes? I could say 25% homozygous dominant, 50% heterozygous, these two here, and 25% recessive, homo recessive. Okay. Now you can work on some of these. On the SpongeBob one, is this heterozygous or homozygous? It's the same, homo. Different, hetero. Lowercase, lowercase, but still the same, homozygous. You can do some crosses here. And you can do some more bikini bottom stuff here. And this is the last thing you're going to do, and I'll do maybe one of these questions. Brown hair is dominant over light hair. Cross two light-haired people. Oh, this is easy. So brown hair would be dominant, so that'd be big B. And light hair means B. So if you had two light-haired people, they would only have to be little b, little b. So if you cross two light-haired people, little v, little v, little v, little v, what are you going to get? Every single offspring is going to be little b, little b. You're going to have 100% offspring with light hair. So you can do this sheet, you can do that sheet, and you can do that sheet. And when you get to this one, you can stop. What you should do is submit all your answers, and that's going to be a lot of pictures. There's a lot of problems. Do the best you can, cross them up, do all your squares, do all your reasoning and logic, do all your genetic practice, and take pictures and submit them to me for assignment number 27, the Punnet square practice.